Deep within a forest, green and grand, lived a little squirrel named Nutkin. His home was a cozy dray, high in an old oak tree. Sunlight dappled through the leaves. Birds sang sweet songs. Every day felt like a joyous adventure. Nutkin loved to scamper through the undergrowth. He chased butterflies with his bushy tail trailing. He gathered acorns, plump and brown, for winter's store. The forest was his playground, a place of endless wonder. The other creatures knew Nutkin well. The rabbits would thump their feet in greeting. The deer would dip their graceful heads as he scurried past. The forest was a peaceful haven, and Nutkin was happy in its embrace. One morning, Nutkin awoke to a strange silence. The usual chorus of birdsong was missing. The air felt heavy, and a strange stillness hung over the forest. Nutkin peered down from his dray, his nose twitching. Something was wrong. He scurried down the oak tree, his tiny claws gripping the bark. The leaves beneath his feet were dry and brittle. The flowers that usually bloomed in vibrant colors drooped towards the ground. The forest, once so full of life, seemed to be fading away. Fear pricked at Nutkin's heart. He had never seen the forest like this. He scampered through the undergrowth, searching for answers. He found the rabbits huddled together, their noses twitching nervously. He saw the deer, their heads low, their eyes filled with worry. Nutkin learned from the worried whispers that a strange sickness had fallen upon the forest. The stream, usually sparkling and clear, had slowed to a trickle. The plants were withering, and the animals were growing weak. The forest was in danger. Fear tugged at Nutkin's heart. He was just a little squirrel. What could he possibly do? But as he looked around at the drooping flowers and the worried eyes of his friends, a spark of courage ignited within him. He had to do something. He would find a way to save his beloved forest. He would be brave. He would be strong. He would find a solution, no matter what. With a determined glint in his eye and a flick of his bushy tail, Nutkin set off on his quest. Nutkin's journey led him through unfamiliar parts of the forest. The once familiar paths seemed darker, the shadows deeper. He scurried over fallen logs, their bark cold and damp. He pushed through tangled undergrowth, thorns snagging at his fur. He had never ventured so far from his home before. The forest felt vast and unknown, but Nutkin pressed on, his heart pounding with a mixture of fear and determination. He had to find a way to save his home. The air grew colder as he ventured deeper. The sunlight, once dappled and bright, struggled to penetrate the dense canopy above. Nutkin shivered, his small body trembling. But he knew he couldn't give up. The forest and everyone he loved was depending on him. As he journeyed, Nutkin listened closely to the sounds of the forest. He heard the worried chirps of the sparrows, the rustling of leaves as small creatures scurried for cover, and then he heard it. A faint whisper carried on the wind. He paused, his ears twitching. It was a whisper, soft and low, but filled with sadness. It spoke of a hidden spring, a source of life for the whole forest. The whisper said the spring had run dry, and with it, the forest's life force. Nutkin knew what he had to do. He had to find this hidden spring. He had to find a way to restore its flow and bring life back to the forest. His heart pounded with a renewed sense of purpose. He wouldn't let his home fade away. Section 6. The Sunken Treasure. Following the whispers on the wind, Nutkin arrived at a clearing. The air felt heavy, the silence broken only by the rustling of leaves. In the center lay a ring of wilted flowers, their petals brown and dry. This had to be the place. He scurried to the center of the clearing, his nose twitching. He sniffed at the ground, searching for any sign of the hidden spring. The whispers had said it lay beneath the earth, hidden from view. But how could he possibly reach it? Then he noticed it. A single acorn lay in the center of the wilted flowers, gleaming like a tiny treasure. It was larger than any acorn he had ever seen, almost too heavy for him to lift. He knew instinctively that this was the key. Section 7. A Glimmer of Hope. With a determined grunt, Nutkin pushed against the acorn with all his might. His tiny legs strained, his claws scrabbling for purchase. Slowly, so slowly, the acorn began to move. It sank into the ground as if swallowed by the earth. The ground beneath his feet trembled. The ring of wilted flowers around him quivered as a low rumble echoed through the clearing. Then with a rush and a roar, a geyser of sparkling water erupted from the spot where the acorn had been. Nutkin watched in amazement as the water cascaded down, filling the clearing with its life-giving flow. The air, once heavy and still, buzzed with a new energy. A wave of relief washed over him. He had done it! Section 8. The Forest Revived. News of the spring's return spread through the forest like wildfire. Animals gathered around the clearing, their eyes wide with wonder and relief. The stream, once a mere trickle, flowed freely again, its water sparkling in the sunlight. Color returned to the wilting plants. The trees swayed gently in the breeze, their leaves rustling with renewed life. The air was filled with the joyous songs of birds, their voices echoing through the revitalized forest. Nutkin, the little squirrel who had dared to face the unknown, was hailed as a hero. He had listened to the whispers of the wind, trusted his instincts, and used his courage and wit to save his beloved home. Section 9. Nutkin the Brave. From that day forward, Nutkin's tale was told and retold throughout the forest. He became a symbol of courage, reminding everyone that even the smallest creature could make a difference with a brave heart and a determined spirit. Nutkin returned to his cozy dray, high in the old oak tree, his heart filled with pride and joy. He had faced his fears, overcome challenges, and saved the forest he loved. He had discovered a strength within himself he never knew he possessed. And as he drifted off to sleep each night, lulled by the gentle rustling of leaves and the soothing music of the forest, Nutkin knew that even the smallest among us can achieve extraordinary things when we face our fears and believe in ourselves.